You have probably never been told this clearly, but one of the fastest ways a man kills attraction is by becoming emotionally available too early. Not because vulnerability is bad, not because women are cold, and not because you should hide your feelings forever, but because giving emotional access too soon breaks the polarity that creates desire in the first place. You might think you are being honest, open, and real. You might think you are building a deep connection. You might think you are doing everything right. But what you are actually doing is giving away the very energy that makes a woman feel drawn to you. You are giving her the part of you that she was supposed to slowly earn. You are revealing your inner world before she has built any trust or investment. And this flips a switch inside her subconscious that you cannot undo with words, effort, or apologies. When you reveal too much too soon, she does not think, "This man is honest." She thinks, "This man needs me to fill an emotional void inside him." And once she feels that, the dynamic changes instantly. There's a difference between being emotionally open and being emotionally exposed. One is grounded. The other is needy. One comes from self-trust. The other comes from self-abandonment. One builds connection. The other suffocates it. Women feel the difference even when you do not say a single word. A man who is emotionally exposed too early sends a clear signal through his body language, tone, and presence that he is already attaching himself to her before she has chosen him. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who tries to secure emotional closeness before there is a foundation for it. Women love emotional depth, but depth is only attractive when it comes from a man who is grounded in himself. A man who can hold his emotions without spilling them everywhere. A man who knows how to reveal himself slowly instead of dumping everything at once. Early emotional overexposure feels to a woman like pressure, like expectation, like a form of attachment that she never agreed to. She feels responsible for your feelings before she has even decided if she wants to let you into her life. That responsibility feels heavy, and heaviness makes her pull away. Before we go deeper, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Have you ever gotten close to a woman and felt something inside you panic at the thought of losing her? Have you ever tried to speed up emotional closeness because you feared she might change her mind? Have you ever opened up too much because you felt that vulnerability would prove you were different from other men? If you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, then this video is going to change the way you understand attraction forever. And before we continue, I want you to write a comment right now, not for the algorithm, but to anchor this belief inside yourself. I choose grounded emotional control. Type it, claim it, anchor it into your mind. And if this is already hitting something deep inside you, subscribe, because this is the work that will change the way you show up with women forever. Now, let us go deeper. When you become emotionally available too early, you are not actually connecting with her. You are trying to secure her. You are trying to build safety through emotional intimacy instead of through self-trust. Emotional openness without self-trust does not feel like confidence. It feels like instability. It feels like you are asking her to reassure you, validate you, or choose you before she has seen who you actually are. Women are deeply intuitive. They can feel when emotional expression comes from strength and when it comes from anxiety. They feel when a man is sharing as an invitation versus when he is sharing as a plea. Attractive men reveal themselves slowly because they are not in a hurry. They are not using emotion to create connection. They are using presence to create connection. Their emotional openness is timed, grounded, and earned. But most men who struggle with women confuse emotional availability with emotional dumping. They think being expressive will show maturity. They think being vulnerable will make her feel closer. They think sharing everything quickly will build trust. But trust does not come from emotional exposure. Trust comes from consistency, stability, and self-regulation. When you give too much too early, a woman feels you are giving her a role she never agreed to play. She feels like you are placing your emotional stability in her hands. She feels like you are making her responsible for your internal world. And that is the exact moment the masculine frame collapses. A man who holds the masculine frame does not need emotional closeness to feel safe. He does not need immediate validation to feel secure. He does not need early openness to feel connected. He takes his time. He observes. He chooses. He lets the connection unfold instead of trying to force it into being. And women feel this difference. They feel the strength of a man who can sit with his own emotions without rushing to give them away. They feel the grounded patience of a man who is not trying to accelerate intimacy to soothe his own uncertainty. Many men were conditioned to believe that love is something you earn by being as open as possible, as fast as possible. But this conditioning comes from childhood wounds, not from masculine wisdom. If you grew up feeling unseen, you might overshare to feel seen. If you grew up feeling emotionally ignored, you might reveal too much in hopes that someone will finally accept you. If you grew up feeling like you needed to prove your worth, you might rely on vulnerability as a way to be chosen. These patterns do not create connection, they sabotage it. Women do not lose interest because you have emotions. Women lose interest because you hand those emotions to them before they have built any trust, investment, or desire to hold them. A grounded man can share his emotional world without collapsing into it. He can communicate his truth without needing her to fix it. He can reveal his feelings without losing his center. Women are drawn to that kind of man. But before a woman feels desire, she needs to feel polarity. Polarity comes from strength, certainty, clarity, and calm. Emotional overexposure destroys polarity because it replaces strength with instability, certainty with anxiety, clarity with confusion, and calm with neediness. You need to understand something clearly. Emotional availability is not the problem. Emotional timing is the problem. Women do not want men who are cold and distant forever. But they do not want men who hand them emotional responsibility on the first date either. A woman needs time to observe you, time to trust you, time to feel your energy, time to see how you respond to challenges, time to see if you are consistent, time to see if you are living from your center or chasing connection out of fear. When you skip this process and try to create instant emotional intimacy, what she feels is pressure, not connection. What she feels is fear, not safety. What she feels is obligation, not desire. A woman becomes attracted to a man when she senses his emotional world is solid, stable, and self-held. She loses attraction when she senses that his emotional world depends on her attention, reassurance, or approval. When you reveal too much too early, you are telling her without words that you cannot hold your own emotional weight. And if you cannot hold your own emotions, you cannot hold hers. Women feel this instantly. They do not rationalize it. They do not analyze it. They feel it in the same way they feel a shift in the weather before the rain comes. They feel it when you lean in too fast. They feel it when you speak too softly, too early, as if you are afraid of losing her. They feel it when your eyes reveal too much longing before she has earned a place in your life. They feel it when your voice tightens with hope. They feel it when your body becomes too available, too quickly. This is not about playing games. This is about maintaining your masculine center so that she can relax into her feminine instinct to open, instead of being forced into the masculine role of holding your emotions for you. Many men make the mistake of thinking that emotional openness equals emotional maturity. But maturity is not about how fast you share. Maturity is about how well you regulate. It is about how deeply you can feel without becoming overwhelmed. It is about how gracefully you can handle your insecurities without placing them on someone else. An emotionally mature man does not rush to share everything. He chooses what to reveal, when to reveal it, and how to express it in a grounded way. He does not open himself hoping she will reciprocate. He opens himself because it is true to who he is. And he does it at a pace that respects the developing polarity. Women crave emotional depth, but only when it comes from a man whose self-worth does not depend on her response. They do not want to feel like your emotions are a test, a performance, or a request for validation. They want to feel like your emotional world is an invitation, not a burden. When you reveal too much too early, it feels like you are asking her to carry you emotionally before she even knows if she wants to walk beside you. She feels this pressure long before you do. And once she feels pressured, the attraction begins to dissolve. You need to understand the deeper reason behind this phenomenon. When a man becomes emotionally available too early, he reveals a psychological truth that women instinctively recognize. He is seeking connection as a way to soothe internal discomfort. He is using emotional closeness as a coping mechanism. He is trying to stabilize himself through her instead of through his own inner strength. This signals to her that he is not fully formed in his masculine presence. Women are not attracted to men who rely on them for stability. Women are attracted to men who bring stability into their lives. A man who is emotionally open but grounded brings warmth without chaos. A man who is emotionally open but insecure brings chaos without warmth. This does not mean you should be cold. It does not mean you should be distant. It means you should be paced, slow, intentional, self-anchored. Masculine presence is not about hiding your emotions. It is about revealing them at the right time and in the right way. The right time is when she has invested enough to hold space for who you truly are. The right way is when your emotions come from a place of truth, not desperation. When you reveal yourself slowly, she feels chosen, not overwhelmed. She feels special, not pressured. She feels respect, not neediness. You have to understand that attraction is built through mystery, but mystery is not the same as confusion. Mystery is when she senses depth, but does not have full access to it yet. Confusion is when she feels you are giving her emotional closeness without clarity, structure, or pacing. When you reveal too much too early, you remove the natural rhythm of attraction. You jump ahead in emotional intimacy, and she feels the off-balance energy inside you. Women can feel when intimacy is out of proportion to the relationship itself. They can feel when a man's emotional availability comes from anxiety rather than from genuine connection. They can feel when your vulnerability is a plea, not a truth. What most men never understand is that women need to feel your emotional center before they can trust your emotional depth. Your emotional center is the part of you that remains steady even when you feel deeply. The part of you that does not collapse under your own emotions. The part of you that can hold tension, desire, fear, and uncertainty without rushing to release them onto her. The part of you that allows her to feel safe enough to open. When you reveal too much too early, she does not get to feel your center. She only feels your exposure. A grounded man reveals himself slowly because he knows that emotional intimacy is something that grows over time. He is not afraid of losing her because he does not use intimacy as a strategy. He knows he is enough. He knows he is choosing her, not chasing her. He knows that desire grows through pacing, not pressure. And because he knows these things, he does not rush to give his heart away. He lets the connection unfold at a pace that protects his integrity and allows her to build genuine interest. You have probably heard women say, "I just need time." What she really means is, "I need space to see who you are without being responsible for your emotions." When you are emotionally available too early, she does not get the chance to see who you are. She only sees who you are trying to be for her. And that version of you is never attractive, because it is shaped by fear. If you want to build real attraction, you must learn to regulate your emotional timing. Speak your truth, but do not spill your heart. Be open, but not exposed. Be warm, but not dependent. Let her see that you feel deeply, but let her also see that you can hold yourself. When you can do that, you become the kind of man who creates both desire and trust. You become the kind of man women feel safe with. You become the kind of man whose emotional world feels like an invitation, not an obligation. Women do not fall in love with emotional availability. They fall in love with emotional groundedness. Emotional availability becomes attractive only when it is paired with masculine self-possession. That is the danger of being too emotionally available too early. Not that you feel too much, but that you reveal too much before you have built the foundation to hold what intimacy demands. Build the foundation first. Build your center first. Build your grounding first. And then reveal your inner world slowly, intentionally, at a pace that honors your value. When you do this, women will not only stay, they will lean in.